live voiceover Q&A. Bill DeWeese here, professional voiceover talent and voiceover coach, voiceover demo producer. I don't talk about this very often. I mentioned it yesterday, but I should probably start mentioning it every day. Author, this is my latest book on voiceover called Get Paid Using Your Voice. It's a how-to on voiceover. It's a great entry point. If you're exploring, trying to get a little more information, kind of a high-level view of what voiceover is about, go below in the description. There's a link below. Get a copy along with the audio companion, which was voiced by who voiced that? Yeah, that was me that did that. So check that out. Welcome. On Fridays we do Q&A. That's our tradition. So this is all about any questions that you may have. I'll take a handful of those before I have to get into work. I've got several projects lined up for this morning. I hope you do as well. Just go into the live chat here on the stream. Let me know where you're watching or listening from. And if you have a question you want to throw it up there, and we'll get to it this morning. First of all, a big congratulations to Nephi in Knoxville. Nephi was first in this morning on the stream. And we always it's become a bit of a contest. Who can be first in? And right now today, Nephi kind of gets the crown of first in this morning. Congrats to you, Nephi. So sorry. Couldn't get to my mute button fast enough. Allergy season. It's upon us. I take Zyrtec every day and it helps a lot. But, excuse me, usually when I sneeze, it comes in waves of 3. My dad was like a sneezer. He'd come in waves of 5. So it's kind of like it's a DeWeese family tradition, apparently. Okay, I think I'm okay now. Bob, hello, how are you doing? He says, good to be back from Reidsville, North Carolina. Bob, good to have you back. Rusty up there in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Phil in Tokyo. And Phil has a question today. Phil says, you mentioned you had an earlier session from a client in Dubai on Skype. Is Skype good enough quality, or do you do the audio on Source Connect? Okay, I think I'm okay. Good question. That's a very good question. And Phil, the answer to that question is this. Yes, I had a session, recorded at Pringles, Pringles potato chips, TV commercial for the Saudi market with a studio in Dubai. We did that over Skype, and here's the way it worked. Yeah, Skype audio is not good enough for them to use on their end. We didn't use Source Connect either. So there's a number of ways that live sessions can be done. The way we did it was I simply recorded it on my end in the Adobe Audition in my DAW. And so as we were doing the session, the engineer, and by the way, there's like the engineer, he was in one location. We had 2, I think they were agency people, and then the final client. And so we were all patched in separately through Skype. And what the engineer did was he shared a screenshot of Pro Tools, which he was using, and in which he captured my audio through Skype into his Pro Tools, not to use for the final work, but to be able to put it together in real time with a video so that the clients and the marketing people could see it and give feedback. So it was pretty cool. So again, I'm recording on my end, and at the end of the session, I just use WeTransfer and I send it over to the engineer. But in the meantime, the engineer is recording everything in his DAW through Skype, and I can see it on the screen. I can see the video. I can see his audio. I see the entire screenshot of Pro Tools. So I do a take. Client would give their feedback if they want me to do another one or not, or they'd say, hey, let's fit it into the video, see how it looks. And so the engineer would edit the video to the time of the of the commercial, and we did that back and forth for about an hour until we got exactly what we needed. So that's how we did that. I love the fact that it is a global market. I mean, if you're a student of my voiceover blueprint, you know that every day. Yesterday, I did a project for a client in the Netherlands for HelloFresh. I recently did a project in Italy for Lamborghini. And I have a job for a client outside the US almost every day, I would say. John, good morning to you in Rhinebeck, New York. Corey in Wisconsin. Emma in Huntington Beach. We've got Mr. Landers says good morning from beautiful sunny Binghamton, New York. It's not Binghamton? I guess I had that wrong. Sorry about that. Stream moved on me. Let's see here. Let me back up here. YouTube, man, that's YouTube's way of just saying, Bill, you're going too slow. Hurry it up. Hurry it up. Mike is in New Jersey. I know you do some work for overseas clients. There must be a big need for American speaking voices. Do you market in Europe? Number one, yes, there's big demand for American or English speaking voices all over the world. I would say at least 25% of my work comes from the European market, and then there's more outside of that. So it's probably less than half, but certainly a big chunk of my work and my income comes outside of the US. Therefore, as I always say, if you've ever followed my marketing training, always think globally. Everybody always thinks they think locally, and it's an outdated paradigm. I mean, you can certainly market local. There's nothing wrong with that, but there's never a lack of prospective clients because the entire world is your marketplace. Good question, Mike. MG in North Carolina, happy Friday to you. Scotty in Brookings, South Dakota. GS, what's up in rainy Washington? Anthony in Phoenix. Mr. Lander says, Sensei Bill, assuming you save every audio file you produce, you must have some serious storage capacity. Any suggestions on saving files? Mr. Landers, I would say this. I do save everything I do, but it doesn't require nearly as much space as you might think because I deal in audio, not in video. If it was video, it would be a different thing. So when I'm producing projects, if it's like a commercial, it might be, I think the thing I did yesterday for HelloFresh was like 5 megabytes, maybe. I mean, it wasn't long at all. Um, and so I use a MacBook Air. I don't even use an external monitor. I'm right into a MacBook Air because there's no fan in it. It makes no noise. It's got a 2 terabyte hard drive. So everything I do, I save to my local, on the computer hard drive, but I also have it syncing to Dropbox in the cloud. So everything's in the cloud. So everything I've ever recorded in my career is not on this computer. Only the stuff since I bought this computer, but I save everything up in the cloud. Rusty says, hello, everyone. I have a bachelor's degree in theater performance. And Bill, you were spot on yesterday about what comes before. Acting is reacting. The audience can tell if you're phoning it in. Thank you for that, Rusty. Again, as I mentioned, I don't have an acting background. I've never had an acting class. But the idea of the discussion yesterday is that we don't perform in a vacuum. And usually we tend to sound that way. If you listen to most voiceover talent, especially if they're not that experienced, they'll grab the script and read as if there's no sense of what's going on, what happened before, or where they're trying to go with the script. But as Rusty just said, it's about reacting to what's going on. So, which means you have to be able to if you're not told by the client, by reading the script, you need to be able to figure out what the context is and what's going on and react to that. Because if you do, that will give you an authentic read. Bill is in rainy, cold Boise, Idaho. Sandra, hello to you in Dallas, Fort Worth. Hope everyone had a happy leap day. Hey, Marla in Texas. Denise in Long Island. Mark, good morning to you in Wilmington, North Carolina. Was looking to hire a lead generator. What's a good rate for hourly or per lead? Thoughts? Well, I really have no feedback in terms of per lead. I've never done a per lead kind of thing. Um, What I do, well, let me tell you what I do. I kind of do, but probably not maybe in the way that you're thinking. Um, a former student of mine by the name of Todd Barsness. When I say former student, he's actually still a student. He's in my program, but um, he bought my first marketing coaching program like 15 years ago. Was it? No, 2010. Was it about 14 years ago? Long story short, he makes over $300,000 a year now as a voiceover talent. And what he's done now, in addition to recording voiceovers, is that he has created a company with his sons in which they do lead generation for voiceover talent. So his name is Todd Barsness, but the name of the company is VO Marketing Pro, vomarketingpro.com. Check them out. This is really for those of you who are, well, really, I mean, they can serve people at, newer talent as well as more experienced talent, and they can talk you through all of that if it's something that you're interested in. But you would pay according to what tier of service that you get. So it'd be hard for me to say per lead. It depends on how many leads that you need to be contacted and all that kind of thing. But they're certainly worth reaching out to. Dale says, good morning from Atlanta. Dwight in Connecticut. Brian in Lancaster, Ohio. Brian, that's my hometown. Class of 77, LHS Golden Gales. Woot woot. Good to have you here, Brian. We've got Keith in Renton, Washington. Jason, happy Friday from Kearney, Nebraska. Caleb, good morning to you in Boulder. Casey in Columbia, South Carolina. Joy, hello from 38 degrees but sunny Southfield, Michigan. In direct marketing, what company should I be looking for so I can email to them? Joy, here's the biggest mistake voiceover talent makes. Excuse me again, just a moment. It's going to be like this for the next few months, I think, transitioning, through spring of the allergies. So my apologies in advance. Joy, the mistake most voiceover talent make is they overthink this. Here's what you need to do. You want to act on this instead of spend a lot of time thinking about it, organizing, creating a database. Don't do any of those kind of things. Do a Google search. You could limit it. If you want to start with Michigan, just search Google Michigan video production, video producers, video production companies. That's your market. And then when they pop up in your search, what you want to do, unless let's assume you're not going to call them. You could call them, which would be great, but most people email. Get an email. If you can't find a creative director or a producer on the website, go to their info at their general catch-all. That happens a lot. And then you reach out to them that way. And you don't keep track of those. You just as quickly as you can, as many as you can, every day, you just send those out. And then for the few that respond back to you, because most won't, that's just the way it works. Doesn't matter who you are, most won't respond back to you. But the few who do, you put them in like in an Excel spreadsheet and track their name and email address and possibly phone number. And those are the folks you stay in touch with to cultivate the relationship so that when they're ready to hire, they've got your name, they remember you, because memory is the biggest battle that we have in marketing, the memory of our prospective clients, because they're busy. They don't remember me. They don't remember you. It's just not that we're not important. We're important to us, but we're not important to everybody else. They've got to see if people they can choose from. So it's top of mind wins that game. Carlin, how are you doing? It's been a while. I just did a recording for a Voice Scout after signing up with them a year ago. It's between me and someone else. How exciting. Well, Carlin, that's a bell ringer. Congratulations, and we wish you all the best on that one. Riley, good morning to you in Paris, Texas. Riley, recording a book today. Second one, fantastic. You're on a roll, Riley. Love it. Wade, happy Friday to you in Philadelphia. Let's see here. Riley, you're making me feel like I'm back in junior high school. Bill DeSneeze. Actually, that's one of the kinder things people have turned my last name into, as you can well imagine. Meryl, how are you doing? Good morning. When entering a rate quote, when you audition a Voice 123, do you recommend always selecting negotiable? No. I don't. As a matter of fact, I try to give what I believe is a good quote. The problem with, and not that I'm not negotiable, I am, but I don't like just being able to select negotiable, because what I don't want is a bunch of stuff coming in where they say, like where I want to quote $300 on a job or $500 and they come back at $50 or $75. So I typically don't, but that's just me. I mean, you got to do what you're comfortable with, but that's how I handle that. Brian, good morning. JR, good morning to you in sunny Austin, Texas. Aaron said, I was right. It is Binghamton, not Binghamton. Okay. I do the best I can. I don't always nail it, but thank you, Mr. Landers. I appreciate that. Aaron in Columbia, Missouri. Mark in Estes Park, Colorado. Megan, happy Friday. Terry, good morning from Falston, Maryland. Finally, a break from the studio. It's been a busy morning. Fantastic, Terry. You have a great weekend, too. Brian says, good morning. Which spoke of your marketing wheel is the most productive? Oof, that's a good question. I would say historically, it's been pay-to-play platforms. if you look at a lot of even, most of my clients earlier on in my career came through I did boatloads, thousands of cattle call commercials through Voice 123 and voices.com. A lot of those clients I still have today. They've carried them with me all these years. So that's still a big part of that. I would say direct marketing will rank up probably second or third, and then talent rosters would be second or third. Those would be like the top three for me. Wally says it's another start to a great VO month from Annapolis, Maryland. Thank you, Wally, for the kind comment. Theo says good morning from the kitchen table in the lovely Chicago burbs. Forecast for today is sunny, 54 degrees, lots of VO recording, and no yodeling. I guess you got all the yodeling out yesterday there at the train station. Thanks for checking in, Leo. I always love your remarks. David, good morning from Canal Winchester, just down the street from Lancaster. I made reference yesterday to the fact that I used to do a lot of remote broadcast back I worked in Columbus radio for a number of years, and I spent a lot of Saturdays in car dealerships all over the city. Of course, I would work out of the studio during the week, but they'd send me out on weekends to do these live remotes. And Canal Winchester was one that I would go to very often. He says, I believe the Chevy dealer you spoke about yesterday was Bob McDorman Chevrolet. Yeah, that's it, Bob McDorman. He says, Bill, I may have run into you back then if you bought gas downtown Canal at Ohio. Thank you. Yeah, who knows? Who knows, David? Fantastic. Thanks for checking in. Love that. Let's see. Good morning from Yarker, Ontario. We've got Bo from Destin, Florida. Dale says, just got paid my first gig. We ring the bell for first-time jobs. That's fantastic. I love that, Dale. Miss Johnny says, good morning from Houston. Joy says, thanks, Bill. I hate overthinking things. I have allergies year-round. In the spring, it's grass, weeds, and other stuff outside. In the fall and winter, it's dust and pet dander. It's always something, right, Joy? Man, if you have allergies, there's always something that's got to get you. Well, guys, thanks for being here. I hope you find these sessions helpful. I do this every weekday morning at this time. And here's something that's really important, really important. Today is the last day for the live training event that happened earlier in the week. We recorded it. Mike Cathcote's filling your voiceover marketing pipeline using social media. It was an outstanding session. Rave reviews from the students who attended. The video of that is available through midnight tonight. Then the link gets killed. Limited time only. So this is the last day. If you want to use social media, if you want to learn how to use that to fill your pipeline with clients, prospective clients, today's the day to grab it because it disappears at midnight tonight. Have a great day and a great weekend. I'll see you Monday morning.